Hey everyone, welcome to the Smile Project, a podcast from School of Dentistry, IMU.
Thank you for joining us today. This podcast is all about holistic dental education on the go. This would enhance your knowledge and attitude not only towards dentistry, but life as a whole.
Tune in to hear and learn from specialists from various fields of dentistry, sharing their experience and discussing topics in the realm of dentistry. So, let's begin.
What is some of the best advice you have ever received?
There's one thing that the Tan Sri Abu Bakar always emphasized. We need to have innovation, imagination, and insight. These are the three pillars of IMU.
Okay.
All right? So to innovate, you must have imagination, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you need to have insight. Whether any solutions you want, what is the current problem or challenges that is faced, and then all your solutions and all your innovations should be supporting. And to be successful, you need to have those three integrated. So whenever we think of something new to do, we always think it is always a risk of change. When you want to change something and introducing something, there is always a challenge. But if you think holistically, this is good. Because, for example, caries management in dentistry. In the past, it's always been taught very traditionally, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5, lesions. But when you talk about lesions on the surfaces, it's always coming with boxes because this comes from Black's classification. And in the past, they always, tell you, when you find a lesion like that, you must prepare this box, this shape and all that. So it becomes fixed in your mind how should be prepared. But I said, if we are going to treat the disease, we must get ourselves out of this box. Think. All right? So I said, I want a new classification. So with our staff, we started looking at all the various possible new classifications around. There are many proposed, if you know. Then later we came across ICDAS.
Yes.
Right? And I felt this sounds good and it's useful because it's visual. It is about treating the lesion as it is. It's nothing about boxes.
Yeah.
So I wanted that. So we need to put this through faculty board, through Senate, to say this is the way we are going to teach. And a very good advice was, because that time, as I said, Tan Sri Abu Bakar, as the president, was chairing Senate and said, oh, you want to do this? That's very good because all the rationale why we want to change. He says, but are they doing it outside? When your students go out and go to work in ministry, will they still be continuing doing ASIDAS? Then it occurs to me, not good enough to introduce new ideas just and confine IMU. We need it to go nationwide. So as I said, what we prepare is not to be stayed in the university, but is to be practiced outside. So then I started engaging all the deans. I said, not good enough. I engaged Ministry of Health and Ministry of Defence. So we form a national group for ICDAS. And I convinced them that this is the way forward in management of dental caries, a very common disease, which for many years we have not managed to conquer. Right? Let's go ICDAS way. And I'm so happy, The nice thing about being very senior is that a lot of these, were my students before as well. But they could see, it's not just to please your own teacher, but they could see the reason why we want to go ICDAS way. And I tell you, we are the first country where so united that everyone talk ICDAS and do ICDAS.
It's amazing.
So when we report it at international level, like IADR, how we are preparing and doing, because there's a lot of training to do. We report on the training, we report on the feedback, how easy it is to implement and all that, so that you understand how, if you want to implement a system, how you're going to go. It's about sharing of experience. At international level, they were amazed at how we can do it. Because you see, my ICDAS training, I train every staff, even the oral surgeon knows what is ICDAS. All right, I said, when we speak ICDAS, it is not confined just in restoration, it is the language. Everybody must know ICDAS and know how to code ICDAS. So there was a lot of training for everyone. So in public health also, you don't go back into class 1, class 2 and say we got caries or not. You go ICDAS. So it is ICDAS as a language throughout the whole profession. So that's why you need to train everyone in the different disciplines that this is the language to use. It's very exciting, but it is about, that's why I said that is very good advice. And it starts thinking that anything you want to do, what is the outcome and what's the impact and how you want to Get it? Is it only to go to stay within the university? That's not what our purpose is. Our purpose is not to get you to become very good within the university and then when you go out, you can't apply. It is whatever you do, you can go out and become a leader. All right? Because you have so much experience in IMU, you feel confident that others who may just touch on the subject and not that there, that you feel, I have a very strong foundation. I am happy even when I start. I have no fear in my job.
Yes.
So I hope all our students will still have that,
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely.
that we are thinking. That's why I say critical thinking. The people are talking, it's just words,
Yeah.
Everybody say, you need to have critical thinking, you need to have evidence-based. But what are we doing about it? Unless it is in your practice, it's in your language that you do, then it becomes natural to you. Naturalize it, It is not something you use it only when you're in a classroom or you use it only when you're doing it. It has to be part and parcel of how you behave and how you think and what you do as a profession. So starting from novice to become from a novice to become a beginner to become a competent, and then become proficient, and then later on we hope be triggered. So exciting, you want to be an expert. Right? Yeah. There are certain things you can grow yourself to become expert, but there are other things like specialist register. That's why we now have specialist register, because as a specialist, those problems that you need to handle must end with you. You can't refer anymore in that area of your expertise. That's why you're called a specialist, right? And to do that specialty, then we need to say what are the complex problems that needs a specialist care. In undergraduate, we cannot train you to be able to manage all because it is just too complex. But we want you to be very comfortable with basic care, all right? What we classify as very straightforward cases, and not fearful, but have a bit of experience that you know what to do in a bit of advance. Because not everyone will get advanced. That's why you have your molar endodontics and all that. That's a bit of advanced root canal therapy. Straightforward is when you have a single canal, right? But we want you to do a bit of advance so that you can know what to do. And then of course they are complex, when the root canal system is very, you then say, okay, no, I refer. All right? Because then you do need special equipment, special things and understanding to ensure you have a better successful outcome. So remember that as an undergraduate, you should be very competent in doing all the straightforward cases and have some experience in some advanced cases to stimulate your interest. So if, we had students before who really love endodontics and he picked it up so much that he can even teach his classmates. I saw he was very good. So one of his classmates was having problem. I said, why don't you go and help? And he did. It's not that because we can't help, but we want to give the opportunity for people to teach. Then the best is when you learn so well, you can teach. That's why we have final year students supervising the junior students, all right, to give them that teaching experience. Because for you to say, I can supervise my junior, all right, you need to be comfortable in your comfort zone that I know enough, but also know that as a supervisor, you no need to be the end-all, the expert. But most of the straightforward cases, because you are already very well versed, you can share. And then, if not, there's always the lecturer. Even as a lecturer, like for myself, it doesn't mean I know everything. There are still things I need to read up at times. Yeah, that's why it's continuous learning. Yeah, lifelong learning. That is the term. We are not afraid of new things that we have not encountered, but as long as we know what to do. That's why we have also introduced currently challenge-based learning. All right, that's again a new concept. All right, haven't been applied to dentistry, and then I said we must, when we see something new, let's try it. That's why we piloted it, and I was so pleased that the students loved it, and so now it's become part into the program. All right, in challenge-based learning, you are not seeing only problems, you are looking at other challenges beyond dentistry. So you become a leader in things like that. Like you can have sustainability problem, What can dentistry do in sustainability? No, a lot of talk is about that. All right? Sustainability. Are you using unnecessary, wastage, getting too much rubbish, using plastics? Are you using too much energy? So it starts making you think. I'm not just managing the patient, but I'm thinking of sustainability of the world, because you can cause carbon, to build up emissions and all that. So we can become problem solvers, right? So it is as I said, the thing is holistic. It is how the message is conveyed actually. Sometimes not everyone can convey the message such that students appreciate why are we doing things. That's important. If you don't understand why sometimes certain things are taught to you, or please ask, right? Because we want also, the other thing I wanted is create a safe environment for learning. And it's all for staff and students as well. Staff are learning, students are learning. We want a safe environment for learning. What do you understand by a safe environment for learning?
Not being afraid to make mistakes and learn from it.
Yeah, and not afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, not afraid.
All right? Because it is when you have something you don't think you can solve the problem yourself, is to ask and share. Not afraid to share, not afraid to ask questions. That's a safe environment. Because sometimes some people are afraid to say something.
Yes.
They're scared of being ridiculed, or they're scared of upsetting the lecturer. So there are a lot of things kept, and then when it's not voiced out, you haven't got the solution shared or solved. The challenge shared or solved. So that's why a safe environment is when I want to learn, but I'm not sure. Then you ask. There is no such thing as a stupid question, because sometimes people are afraid. If I ask them, people will think I'm stupid. No, there's no such thing as a stupid question. It's whether it's clear enough, and then if you do not understand a question, you can ask the person to kindly repeat, or if they say something and you do not understand, you say, I do not quite get it. Can you kindly explain again? This is the same environment for learning. Because when we are learning, we are actually learning about experiences, about evidences, about work that's done, and sharing, like even in reflection. That's why you need to feel safe when you are reflecting. If you made a mistake, feel free to mention why a mistake was made, because it's recognizing that and not fear of making mistakes. Yeah, but if you recognize it, you will not make the same mistake. It's only when you don't recognize it that mistakes and then failure keep on repeating, and then you get disheartened. It's only when we learn from it, we avoid future problems, we avoid future mistakes. That's how we become smarter, faster. So safe environment for learning is important. Do you feel safe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
good.
I feel safe.
Yeah.
So, Professor, moving on, you've had a tremendous amount of leadership experience. I think we can tell so far too. So, what is your approach to leadership, or were you just like thrown into it and you just, came out?
Yeah. Again, I like to quote Tan Sri, who says, in IMU, we want to make a leader at every level. The students can be leader, every staff at every level can be leaders. And I think all of us have a bit of leadership exposure in some ways. But actually leadership is also comes with responsibility. So I think it's just that there are a lot of things I like personally, passionate about. And I think maybe it's catching, so some people also say, let's try it. So people dare to take risks. So it's not that it's very original, but from this and that, you try to think all the time, solutions. Can we do this better? So when we share, and people share, then we say, this is a good thing to do. I have always been very vocal. It's only when you speak your thoughts that people share. Yes. And so like here, if we are talking and then if you talk as well, then we learn from each other, right? Although now I'm talking most of it. Because you're talking about experience that I'm quite excited about, so I'm sharing. But I would like to know, that's why, like your experience, what is leadership? What do you think is a leader? No doubt there are courses that we attend to say, to recognize leadership, but I wouldn't say that there are things like born leader, and I also can't say that leadership can be trained in everyone. No,
you can't.
They can't actually, because you need to be in your comfort zone. Yeah, but everyone can lead in some way at certain times in certain situations. But to lead change, you need a different mindset. We can lead in doing certain things that is a routine for us. We know it very well, so we can lead, and we feel comfortable leading. But if it's a change that you don't have even experience about, it's just an idea, you're right? You can be stumbled by fear. But if we think about it logically, when you need change, when you see a challenge even in society, you want to see, okay, sometimes solutions can come straight to you, but implementing a solution may not be easy because we haven't had the insight to see of what is existing solution, of existing challenges. Unless we can work within the environment of challenges and see whether the solution can work or not, it's not easy to lead change. So sometimes certain things, change can be slower, but you still want to do change. So we hope we can instill in our students that you can be leaders of change in your profession and in society. The profession need to keep on changing. Like we are now going to AI and all of these things. It's not about fear, because people now has so much nonsense being shared on social media, like AI is going to replace work, it's going to be dangerous. I mean, there are always negative people who will spread negative things, just like fluoride. It's a poison, you shouldn't be using it, and then we know from evidence it's not that bad, you know how to control it. The white speck is not as bad as getting decay, sort of thing. So it is about knowing what is the current situation and how to develop a solution. And when you implement a solution, is to evaluate how effective it is and not. You have to modify. That's challenge-based learning, is to help you do change, lead change. You find, there's a challenge there. I want to implement this solution. All right? And what makes you come up with a solution is to look at, are this challenge being faced by other societies, by other things? Have it been written about? Have people been trying some solution? So that's why it gets you to learn from others who may have already got that challenge and see a solution. And then you see, they implemented this solution. Can it be implemented here? Then you still must, that's why the critical thinking is important. Will it apply? What is the insight? You need to have the insight. Can it apply to this society? Can it apply to that? But it must not give you the fear of one thing. And first thing is say, no, it will not work. I will tell you this, when we first tried problem-based learning, it's many years ago in the old university that I was working with. And I had lots of reasons from staff. No, it will not work, because you're asking the students to do most of the learning. They will not know, because they're so used to, I give you lectures, I don't want problem-based learning. Cannot, because our students come up from a system that's not problem-based. They refuse. I got all the training and everything, they refuse. I even purposely implemented the curriculum of postgraduate where I get the staff to do, and even after training, some of the staff are facilitating, okay, stop discussing. He gets, irritated by the students discussing. Wasting time. You just go and read. And then he start giving the solution, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go and read about this and this, how you are supposed. So then I said, our problem of introducing new things is not the students, not the learners. It's always the lecturers. Because they are in their comfort zone, they cannot move. And I said, it's not peculiar just in Malaysia. When problem-based learning was introduced in the world, I had it that many schools thought it was good to get active learning from the students. I tell you, at international conferences, international universities, there are lecturers who tell me, I'm resigning. I'm no longer needed. I'm an expert. They don't think that I should be giving the information, that I have all this experience. They want the students to go and learn, and he felt useless and hopeless. So it is about insight. So we cannot just introduce it without preparing the staff. That's why in IMU, the first thing before we do, we always need to train and prepare our staff. Then only you go to the students, the learners, so that you will not get hiccups during that. So we hope that whatever experience you are getting, you find that the staff are well tuned to it. The only thing I can say in this institution is we spend a lot of time and effort in staff development, because the students deserve good staff guidance. We are there to guide and to ensure you have the learning experience that is to set you well, but we should not be here to tell you just what to do. We don't want to be information givers. No doubt we can share our experience and share some information, but we don't want you to be dependent on us as the information source. We'd like you to know there are a lot of places you can learn. You learn from each other. You certainly can learn from us. We will share, but it is not so teacher-centered. That's why. It's more the learner-centered approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Thank
nice
you.
knowing the behind the scenes of how a lot of these things have been implemented for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is why you think we have this sort of experience for you. It is mainly, as I said, we are looking at your future, which you do not know how it is like, and is preparing you for that.
Right.
When we first started, of course, we don't have evidence to say that this is the right way to do. It's only when our graduates go out and we see the evidence and they come back and give us the feedback that we feel more confident. Then we can introduce more and build up more. Yeah.
Absolutely. So speaking of future, what is your advice to the young dental professionals or the younger generation of dentists?
Yeah, I think dentistry is very exciting. As I said, it's much more than just the mouth. In the past, dentistry has not been seen as a very exciting profession. Yeah, when I was a young student, that's why if you have seen some of the writings, I was an accidental dentist. When I was young, all the time it's ingrained in me, you must be a medical doctor.
Yes, I've read.
All right. So when I was in Form 6, I was always doing very well, so people expect me already to become a doctor, right? But when I was Form 6, it was 1969. The country went through a lot of turmoil, and it happened into my family, and my family had turmoil, and so it affected my studies. So I didn't do so well in my A levels, the HSC. So I didn't get grades to go straight into medicine, all right? Although from Form 5, O levels, I was a top student in my school. But when it comes to Form 6, in that year of the exam, unfortunately, I didn't do well, because there was a lot of personal turmoil. And we can know from certain times, however good it is about learning that stress and how to manage it. When I was young, I couldn't, because there was no one to advise me. So it was a very difficult time for me. So when I applied to University of Malaya, I didn't get medicine. They gave me super fresh science program. That means I can enter second year. I'm better than first year students. They gave me second year entrance, and I wanted to do that. But my brother, who's sponsoring me, said I should go to Singapore. And I applied to Singapore. I didn't get medicine. They offered me accountancy. And I said, no, I don't want to be an accountant. I just put it as a choice, you see. No, I rejected it. Offered me engineering. I said, no, I don't want to do it. Then my brother called me from Singapore, and we had a long chat, and said, you should come and do engineering. So I went down to do engineering. But, because in the past, we don't know what engineering is about. It's always said engineering is for guys,
Yeah.
There's not much job scope for women.
Yes.
So I think the education about what careers is not there.
Yes.
People always think if you're smart, you must be a doctor.
Yep.
Even
It's
today.
terrible. I think until now,
Today,
It's still happening.
Yeah.
it's terrible. And then if you're not a doctor, you feel so demoralized that you're not smart enough, that you go and do other courses. It's not true. It is what is your natural passion and what you can do. So I went there, and actually I enjoyed engineering. I was there for only 2 weeks. Then they said, oh, we have dentistry. Dentistry was my second choice. They offered to me dentistry. Then I said, okay. At least it's also nearer to medicine that I entered dentistry. But when I entered engineering, I was surprised. I really enjoyed the engineering course the first 2 weeks I was there. It was so interesting about binary system, all that. I could, cope with it. Then I said, hey, it's not bad. Actually, it's quite an interesting thing, I could have been an engineer and be quite happy, actually. But then I entered dentistry, then, I did well and all that. So it was very different. Then you suddenly realize, hey, there's more to dentistry, yeah?
Yeah.
Then because people don't promote about dentistry well enough to say how comprehensive and so much you can do about it, and so interesting, Although during my training time it was quite didactic, yeah. We had very strict lecturers and all that, but I still find learning very interesting about the human system. We actually had to do cadaver, dissection and things like that. It wasn't pleasant because, every Monday when you go in, they are soaked in formalin, and you enter, your eyes will be tearing because of the formalin and all. So all this unpleasantness, I'm pleased that now we can different way of learning. It doesn't mean that you need to dissect dead bodies, to learn, because anatomy is actually learning what is necessary. So now there's virtual anatomy, divergent anatomy, which is good. It is safer, it is more healthy than the old ways. That's why I said when we change, we must change for the better. People need to know. Whereas people brought up in traditional way, thinks, oh, you're not trained well enough because you don't know how to dissect, you haven't dissected. So these are the old school. What I said, trained from old school. And it is difficult to convince sometimes people who are old school and think they're very good. Just like when I started this new thing, I had a mentor from UK who, I looked up to. He was the dean there, and he was very kind to me, because when I first do research also, in UM, there were no researchers before then, so I was unsure. I shared with him, and then he'd tell me what to do and all that. So it was very nice. So he told me, when I shared with him what I want to do here, why do you want to do that? He told me, the traditional way, isn't it good? It brought up people like you. You are successful, aren't you? Why do you want to change? Because the way I approach it is very different. No other universities have done it. But I said, why? I said, because the world is changing. And I said, we have different challenges. As I say, I run world class, but our students need to go and, adapt well. I wanted a seamless transfer. Okay? So what are the things you need to put in place to prepare our students to be there? And even if you are staying here, you still feel you're world class. That you are not staying back and not getting world class education. It has to be world class here. So I said, for that experience and for the outcome I want, I'm not just following any Western university to say that, oh, because they do that, I do it here. No. You need just to think, in this society, to have insight of here, what our students are like. I said the values must be there. And always very proud even when I travel, our Asian values are very good. It's ingrained in the way you are brought up. It's ingrained in how you want to learn, because the love of learning is actually very much in Asian culture, that you come up and you want to learn and you want to be successful while you're learning, right? But success doesn't mean just A grades.
Yes.
Success is when you learn and you know that you have learned and you know how to apply it. That is successful learning. It's not about scoring. Certainly, the assessment system is there just to ensure people have learned well, and we are assessing the students to say that they know this, right? But your main aim is not just to be mediocre. Your main aim is to be the best you can be. It's not about competition. It is within yourself, of your self-development, that you are happy. Today I'm better than yesterday. Yeah? And then it's another new thing I haven't tried before. Maybe I want to try. All right? Because anything you do outside will build you as a better character. All right? We used to have electives during school holidays, and I tell the students, you can do anything you want, but it has to be related. How can it make you a better professional? So some have gone go-karting. They want to try go-karting. I said, fine. If you can tell me, if you go go-karting, how can it make you a better healthcare professional? Then they said, go-karting, the challenges, eye-hand coordination, and then the stress that you have, and then learning how to maneuver in times of things. And then in dentistry too, in the clinic, you can have uncertain things. You must be able to manage that stress of change, of having, difficulties. I said, that is the thinking person I want. Anything you do is related to building you to become a better professional. It doesn't mean to learn that. I said, the worst is, during this elective, I want to be posted in a dental clinic to see how the dentists work. I said, you are not creative. It's boring. I want you to do something exciting, something new. It must be something new and something that will make you a better professional. So you need to put a thinking cap on. It can be fun. Fun is good because learning should be fun. But you need to understand it's not just about fun. It is, after that experience, you're a better person. So, in all our things we do, it should be fun. We should enjoy our learning. We should enjoy our meals. A lot of things we can enjoy. It shouldn't stress us up. Yeah? But then we need to also be very mindful that whatever we do in our interaction, we are learning. And the learning is an important thing. It's subtle learning, subconscious, but if we are conscious about it, you learn more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One last question
Okay.
to sign off on a lighter note.
Yes.
Could you tell our listeners maybe 3 interesting facts about yourself outside of dentistry, maybe your hobbies, your passions?
Okay. Now that I'm more senior, it's reduced a bit. I used to love shopping. All right, and I love to meet with people. I love to travel. So that's why even I used to advise my daughter. I said, "What do you like in life?" Because she again want to be a doctor. I want to be an oncologist, and I discouraged her. I said, "No, what do you want to like?" Oh, they said the problem with being a doctor, you can't wear nice clothes. You every time cover with an overall. I said, "Oh, wearing nice clothes is important for you." Yeah, and I like to travel. I said, "Then why don't you become a dentist like me?" I travel a lot. Yeah. The main thing is that's why academia is also very exciting, because in academia you are all the time in a learning institution. So because of the love of learning, it is there. See, the environment is there to promote learning. Because I used to say, some of my students said, "Prof, actually your clinical skills is quite not bad. You will be very successful. You open up a clinic and then you earn so much more." Then I said, "Yeah, but then some time ago, I had a friend who in private practice, then he went back to academia. Then I asked him why. Then he told me things that make me realize. He says, Chooi Gait, yes, I was doing very well. I had my Mercedes, and then I had one car after another and all that. But after a while, all these new things, it's just another materialistic thing. So he says, now I'm academia. I'm doing things I enjoy and they're paying me for it. Before that, all the things I enjoy, I need to pay for it. So it makes you think, what do you enjoy doing?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So like in academia, I said, I enjoy learning. I'm in a learning institution. I enjoy meeting people and traveling. I can go to conferences, and then if you're good, people invite you to become speakers. So I've been doing workshops and everything everywhere, and I make good friends. I can even stay in their house. I said, wow, I'm very blessed. So that's why academia is good for me.
Yes.
Like tomorrow I'm going Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they have invited me to do a workshop for their staff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's all paid for. So I got a paid holiday and I can go shopping.
Okay.
So that's why I said you must put me in the hotel in
The shopping street?
Yes, the Orchard Road of Ho Chi Minh City.
Okay.
In Q1, and then stay in that hotel. He said, "Yeah, that's our favorite hotel." So I just walk out and I can do all my shopping and then come back. So I said, "Have lecture, we'll shop internationally."
Okay.
So shopping is, I love shopping, I love traveling, I love meeting people.
Yeah.
And I
Nice.
think, as I said, I have a very blessed life in the sense that I have such good friends overseas as well. Because, when you go and then you meet people and when you're there and interact with people, you understand the same challenges you're facing and you also learn from them. How they overcome their challenges, and then you get ideas. As I said, life is wonderful when you have ideas and you can share, and sharing of ideas is wonderful. So I said it's a privileged life, academia, in the sense that I can still keep up my clinical skills, but it is such a nice learning environment and interact with young people like you that stimulate me to feel that, I'm doing something, meaningful. Because I said, when you do things and it's not meaningful, it doesn't come up with good outcome, you get very demoralized,
Yes.
right? But when you're all the time doing things that are different or interact with people who are different, it actually enriches your life. So it's a very enriching experience. So maybe you all next time should think about academia as well.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it actually is.
Already have. Yeah. The moment I get the idea, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
there's so much.
it's lovely because you're not only doing clinic and interact with patients, which all professionals do, but you interact with students and then you can do research, find new information. I love research, So doing research gives you new ways of doing things. It's not that we want all to become Nobel Prize winners. It's not that. Not every research will become so groundbreaking, but it is a step to doing things that are different. Right?
Yes.
You contribute something to it, make the profession either better or things better and things like that. So, everybody can have a great role to play. Get your mind free and think about it. So if your eyes are open to challenges and wanting to overcome challenges, you'll always be happy and got things to do.
Yes.
So there's nothing that's routine.
So that's great.
Yeah.
That's really
Right?
great.
It's nice. I loved it.
So thank you so much for your insight. It's very enriching also.
Exactly.
I
Like your passion for teaching, learning, and just dentistry as a whole is very uplifting.
Okay. We hope that this will rub up a bit on you, and because I always say
definitely
the main
does.
thing is there is continuation of this. Things just get better. It was once at my past universities, we had the top student of the country came in as a dental program. Wow, we are so proud. We had checked dental program. Then during orientation, meeting the staff and all that, then he stood up and said, he says he was given a holiday in Australia, met all his uncles, aunties and all that. And they said, why are you going to study? And they all were so proud of him, being the top, scorer in the whole country for the SDPM or what. And then he says, they told them, he's going to study dentistry. He said, everybody congratulate him and everything. And then back in Malaysia, when people hear, why are you going to dentistry? Why are you not medicine? I said, why do people think medicine is better than dentistry?
Yeah.
I said, this is the misconception.
Yes.
So I said, it actually is people like you need to change mindset. I said, it's all our own responsibility to say that dentistry is a wonderful profession. You have everything, and then you have better work-life balance later on. Because like when my daughter said she wants to be an oncologist, I said, right, you want to be a savior of mankind, but you need to be also mentally prepared. A lot of people, by the time they come to you with a cancer problem, they're going to die on you. It's too late to rescue them, whatever. So can you take that? Another thing is, I said, you can either be a very good doctor or you're a very good wife and family. Your work-life balance will be difficult because, the commitment must be there. All right? So I just want them to see that when you go into a profession, you need to realize what is expected of the profession. You need to have that going for the right reason. You want to develop the passion. So like in dentistry, sometimes they get into dentistry because they fail to get to medical school. And then they come in with the wrong mindset already. And they're disheartened and all that. And they feel they are second class. No. Dentistry is a separate profession. Just like in healthcare, there are many different professions, like, chiropractic, Chinese medicine. They are profession by themselves. And they have their own wonderful things and challenges. It's not one profession is inferior to the next. It's just different, right? But we need to interact each other and see each other's role in helping the person to stay healthy, right? So I said, in future, the ideal society, each person must have their own doctor, their own dentist, their own chiropractor, their own this, to keep them healthy away from disease. That's why I tell the students, your role, whenever you have a patient, is to keep them away from disease. Whatever disease they have to you, you control them and to help them to not get the disease again. If they get the disease again, you're not successful. All right? Yes. So the prevention is better than cure, need to be a clinician's thing. Not that, like many years ago, one dentist, if you don't hold the handpiece and you don't cut something, the patient think you're not giving them proper service as a dentist. It's not true. It's how you communicate. Again, communication skills. So I said the communication skills must be very important. How you communicate to the patient to see that you're adding value to their lives. So the prevention of getting their caries risk management, their periodontal risk management, the two common diseases, because we do not educate enough, we cannot control the disease in the population. People should not be losing teeth. All right? There's still too many people losing their teeth. And when you lose your teeth, any replacement is costly and also may not be as good as the original. All right? That's why your health is also affected. So you want people to lead healthy, long lives and contribute to society, we need to give good oral health care. All right? And the education of our patients are important. So we have actually a very critical role. There will not be enough dentists. Actually, not enough dentists in our country. It's just the distribution of them.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
We haven't distributed them well in our country. Okay. So that's why there's still big pockets of population where they don't have access to care, and so they are losing their teeth a lot.
Okay. Right? That's interesting.
So I hope when you all graduate, in your class and all, especially in your first year service, do not stay in the city. Go out.
Yeah.
And I think the experience, you will love it. Okay. Because people in the rural areas appreciate you much, much more.
Okay. Yes.
And you can do so much more in educating them, in transforming their lives.
That's nice. That's really nice.
You have a role in doing that. And do that, There to change your environment. Because it's a fantastic learning experience when you change your environment.
We'll keep that in mind next time.
Yes. And you want to go to ministry, that's wonderful, You're paid for a job and you're paid for a new experience. Do that.
Okay.
Don't go into comfort zone. You can still have your break and all and go to the cities and have your fun, but it is what you can do in the areas where you find there are not enough dentists. Go there.
Okay.
Go there, then you find, wow, I have so much work to do, so your skills will just go, pew. It's experience.
Okay.
You will go
that's
out.
a great way.
From here, because during your training, you will have a certain limited number of patients you can see, but when you go out in your first year, you want to see as many as possible, and the many variety as possible. If you stay in the city, there may not be, because there are too many people around, and you may not get a good spread and a number. So if you go out, that experience and that training will set you off.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Whether you want to stay is a separate issue, but I think you should at least go for 1 year of experience there.
Okay.
It will be very invaluable for your future career.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof.
Right.
We really learned a lot from you today.
Yes. So now we are signing off our episode, and we hope to
See you next time.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Smile Project. We hope you enjoyed.
If you would like to help support the podcast, please share it with your family and friends and leave a rating or review. Thank you once again, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.